I'm Rhonda O'Connor. I'm from Grit Marketer, and I've always been from Iowa. The three takeaways I had that I'd hope they would leave immediately and be able to do is a way to spur new ideas, eliminate bias, because whether we know it or not, when we're thinking of ideas and strategies, we bring a bias into whether we think it will work or not, and sometimes we don't even explore those options because of that bias. And then the last option is to beat out your competitors because you figure out a channel to try out and test that no one else is using. So a lot of times people will adopt a strategy and they may test it, but they're doing bigger, longer tests that maybe last a month or 2 months. With traction, you literally are doing short tests, and it varies. It could be days, it could be weeks. But when you have like X number of dollars, you don't want to wait for a month or 3 months to figure out if it's going to work. But if you're testing 3 channels against each other and you see one gets traction quickly and you're getting new customers, you should stop and refocus your budget on what's going to be maximized. So that's what's really valuable about the traction methodology. So the Bullseye Method from the book Traction by Gabriel Weinberg outlines the Bullseye Method. You know, if you think about a bullseye, there's 3 rings: the outer ring, the center ring, and the middle. And so that outer ring is where you come up with new ideas by looking at the marketing channels in kind of a lens of 19 different ways. And that really helps you come up with new ideas that you haven't thought of. And then as a group, depending on the democracy at your office, you vote on what you think are the top 3 most promising options that could gain the best traction. And so those make it to that inner ring, and then you test each of those against one another, and you figure out which one's got the best value, bringing you the best customers at the right time. And whichever one wins, it makes it to the is your core channel in the middle. Yeah, so the book outlines the marketing channels in 19 different ways, and there is a lot of crossover, but that's what makes you think about different ideas in a different way, and you come up with a better idea. For example, people will write blogs. Well, instead of doing just blogs, is there industry blogs that you can go, niche blogs you can go and ask to have your blogs published on? That is an example of exploring the 19 channels in a different way to optimize. You know, I came from the tech startup world. It was cost effective because we could actually select 3 channels or 3 ideas to test that didn't require money. So it was a really cheap way for us to test that way. But I think if you're a bigger, more established company, this is a great way to, okay, we have these typical strategies that we do. They're kind of tried and true, but we really aren't getting a bump in what we want. And so this is a way to test it. You know, hey, we'll put $500 on this channel and test it, and on all 3. And then you figure out which one's really working, and then you focus on that one. So that's why I think it's really cost effective and, quite frankly, a cheap way to test new ideas. But it does require staying focused, testing, and tracking, and that can be difficult. Burger King did their 1-cent Whopper detour campaign, and it literally trolled McDonald's. And so using their app, if you got close to McDonald's, you could go into their app, order a Whopper for 1 cent. It would tell you what's the closest Burger King to go to, and you could go to Burger King and get your Whopper for 1 cent. So that's an example of using engineering as marketing. So if you have the ability to create an app or some kind of cool tool, some people use calculators. That's a great way to get leads. I think it's that outer ring, the 19 channels. When we did it, we had way more ideas than if we had looked at it in a different way. I think that it's typical for marketers to just use the same channels for the same clients, the same customers. Maybe we change our messaging, but it's literally exploring 19 different channels, and you'd be amazed what you could come up with. And it's pretty exciting when you do it. Well, I think marketers in general always want to do something new, innovative, cutting edge. And the ones who are involved in AMA are those who are actively looking to figure out how to do things better. And so this audience was a perfect fit for this topic. They can find me on my website, gritmarketer.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn under Rhonda O'Connor.